Following in the intergalactical path of Star Trek and its successor, Star Trek The Next Generation, comes the much-anticipated Star Trek Deep Space Nine, premiering in syndication this week. And Deep Space Nine is the name of the 24th century alien space station manned by, among others, Odo, its security officer, portrayed by Rene Auberjonois. Oh, he said I wasn't going to get this right. Auberjonois. I got it. And also played by Avery Brooks as its commander, Benjamin Sisko, who is in this scene telling another commander, I think maybe a familiar face to you, that he may soon leave his post to raise his son back on planet Earth.
And I'm investigating the possibility of returning to Earth for civilian service.
Perhaps Starfleet Command should be considering a replacement for you.
That's probably a good idea.
I'll look into it. In the meantime, however...
In the meantime, I will do the job I've been ordered to do to the best of my ability, sir.
And Avery and Rene are joining us this morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Well, Avery, that was, of course, Patrick Stewart's face that we saw there. He's Captain Picard on the Star Trek The Next Generation. How is this show going to be different?
Well, we're in it, after all. But, I mean, yeah, people ask that question all the time, but I think the fact that we are on a space station as opposed to a starship, and so that everything comes to us, in fact, that we have a chance to have this intergalactic intersection of cultures, so that, you know, the entire galaxy, you know, actually comes to us, through us, yeah?
And I'm told it's a little grittier. When you looked at the script, when you first also saw the in command this time, did that also make a difference to you?
Well, actually in the script, it wasn't delineated whether the character was black or white or anything. And also, it was very important to me, of course, that I had a chance to play a commander 300 years hence who is brown for some brown children somewhere on the planet. But what attracted me ultimately was really the story. You know, this man who is not at peace with himself, this person who has to find or go on this journey, who also has to defend humankind. I mean, it's a wonderful story to tell.
Sounds like a tough job, but I don't know. Rene, you may have the tougher job. 2.5 hours of makeup every day? What is...
Yeah, it's a little... Yeah.
That
it's a little bit
tough.
like having surgery. A little bit like having surgery every morning. But I'm not the one doing surgery. I just sort of lie there and let them do it for me.
When you have all that on, I would imagine when the guy says, it's a wrap, it probably has a special meaning to you. It means you can take all that stuff off.
Yeah, one of the best things about this makeup is I can sort of roll it off my face. So the minute they say wrap, I say, are you sure? You're sure it's over? And they say, yeah. And then begins my nightly ritual of peeling it off my face.
It must feel so good. You know, I talk with enough people on shows like this to know how it's a lot of hard work. Here you are going through all this hard work, and audiences won't know who you are. How do you feel about that? They aren't going to know your face because you're wearing another face, Rene.
I love it.
You love that? You get to keep your anonymity and...
Yeah, I've had enough people stopping me in supermarkets in my life, and I like the idea that I'll be able to sort of have that little thin skin of rubber between me and the world.
Avery, it is a very different story, but it is two Star Treks. What do you say to those people who say, too much of a good thing?
Well, I mean, they'll have to decide ultimately, won't they? I think there's an insatiable appetite for the curiosity about the future. Yeah. So I don't know. I think the jury is out, after all, about whether it's too much of a good thing. I think that we need to let the audiences decide, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Is
it kind of a kick? I mean, I know you've got Shakespearean experience behind you. You both, you know, serious actors, and here you are finding this kind of. You're going to find incredible success, I'll bet, I'm sure, on a show like this. This kind of a fun fantasy story.
Well, I think it's a sort of, for actors who have worked on the stage, as both Avery and I have, and a great many of the cast of the regulars on this show, Star Trek has always represented, it's been a signature for Star Trek to have the kind of language and the kind of stories that are, you know, a step above the usual television fare. And in terms of whether there's, you know, too much of a good thing with Star Trek, I mean, people might say there are too many sitcoms about hysterically dysfunctional families or lawyers or cops.
I'll go along with that.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up with Star Trek, so I think it's terrific. And Avery, you probably grew up with it too. Did you watch it when you were a kid?
Sure, I did.
Yeah?
And in fact, I was asked very early on, once I got this role, whether I was a fan of Star Trek, and I couldn't lie. I said no, except that I'm, of course, aware of the phenomenon of Star Trek, but I'm a fan now.
Oh, I'll bet. You'll have a lot of fans following you. Avery, Rene, nice to see you. Good luck with the new show. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
And Good Morning America continues after this from Six a Dent. Love the music.